In this video, I have a tactics video, and that's going to be the battle drill for breaking contact. There is many different ways of doing this, many different variations. You'll find a lot of different videos on this on YouTube and around the internet. Check them out. Find a version that works the best for you or works best for the skill level of your people, and practice it. Practice it over and over and over again. Don't just practice it 100 times. Practice it 10,000 times, and then practice it another 10,000. Always remember, when you're doing this, be aware of the direction your muzzle is facing, and keep your finger off your trigger when you're moving. So when you're getting up, you're breaking contact, you're moving during the Australian peel method, your finger comes off the trigger, you put your weapon on safe, your barrel should be facing down or towards the sky, whatever's most comfortable for you when you're doing it. Now, the first method I'm going to show you is a variation of the Australian peel. I will show you a few different ways in doing it. I will also, at the end of this video, I will show you a way for possibly breaking contact if you're in a large crowd. You need to get out of there. Like if something happens at the rally on January 20th in Richmond. Now, first off, in this situation here, we have a head-to-head. This is the militia element, that's the enemy forces element. We're traveling through an area, we're traveling in ranger file, we bump into each other. Now, in this situation here, as soon as contact happens, these guys are going to get online. They're going to move up and start pouring fire down as best they can. Down here on this particular method, what we can do, you should already be a herringbone. People are concentrating on different sides. You're alternating, going down. Whatever direction you're concentrating on, you take that step off that trail to the vegetation on that side. Your lead man, he gets down to a knee or whatever. He does his magazine dump on the enemy. He's putting down the fire as fast as possible. If he sees targets and he identifies it, he puts multiple rounds into that target until that person goes down, and then moves on to the next one. Number 2 man here will be prepping a hand grenade if he has it. After he's done with his magazine dump, he comes back. He taps number 2 on the shoulder as he's moving down the center here. He's going to go to the back of the formation, maybe take up position off on the side, or he's going to pull back a distance and get set up for consolidation or reorganization. Number 2 man, he tosses that grenade. He then fires a set number of rounds. Could be 10 rounds, could be half a magazine, full magazine, whatever the drill is for your unit. He does it. He comes down, taps number 3. Number 3 hopefully has an automatic weapon. He then pours fire on the enemy, sprays the area left to right, right to left multiple times. He empties his magazine, empties his drum, half the drum, whatever you practice for your drill. He then comes back, taps number 4 on the shoulder. Number 4 then knows he's supposed to open fire. Then he fires his set number of rounds. Then he pulls back down the center also. Now, if we're pulling back for consolidation, number 1 man comes down the trail. He takes up his position where he's supposed to be, next to the trail. Number 2 man comes down. He gets online on that side where he was before. You start getting online for the enemy. Number 3 comes down. He comes down between the 2 of them. He pulls in on the left side. Remember, he was on the left side for when you went into the herringbone. Number 4 comes down. He comes down through the center between 2 and 1. Pulls off to the right side. Now at this point, we're checking casualties. We're reloading our weapons if needed. We're getting ready for if the enemy comes charging forward. If the enemy comes charging forward, We get them inside our kill zone. We pour mass fires on them to wipe them out or delay them again. Try to slow them down, and then we go through. If we got to break contact again, we continue to do that till we're in a position we can develop the situation better. Now, it could be we pull back and we decide to flank the enemy to hit them, or we make the decision we're going to skirt around going to the flank, go around the enemy to continue mission, continue on with what we're doing, or just plain get out of the AO to keep from getting wiped out. Now, when you're breaking contact, you want to cover that you're breaking contact with one of three things. You're going to use smoke, you're going to use massed fires, or you're going to use chaos of the situation where no one knows really what's going on. You're using that time that the chaos is giving you and breaking contact before the enemy fully develops the situation, before they fully realize you're the smaller element. Now, this next method, we're going to have it where the enemy is set up in ambush. We'll do a couple methods on this. First, we'll start off with, we're inside a heavy vegetated area. We're moving through Ranger file once again. Everyone's orientated off to the sides, watching the sides and so forth as we're moving forward. Now, they open fire. Immediately we get down, take a knee, guy in front dumps his mag, same thing as before. Number 2 preps his grenade. Number 1 comes down, right side or left side, whatever is the battle drill for your unit. Taps number 2 on the shoulder. Number 2 tosses that grenade, mag dump. Then he comes back, taps same side that number 1 came down on, taps number 3. Number 3 does his mag dump. Then he comes down the same time, same side as 1 and 2. Number 4 does his mag dump. If he's got a smoke grenade, before he dumps his mag, he tosses that smoke forward to get it as close to the enemy as possible. Then he pulls back. Same thing as before, get back a set distance, consolidate, develop the situation, move on. Now the next version of this. Our enemy is set up in an ambush on the edge of the IV line, the edge of the tree line. We're moving forward. We're crossing an open area. We're in wedge formation. Now typically, as engineers, we typically put our squad automatic weapon out on the flank. If we had a machine gun like a 240 or something, that was typically located towards the center, near the squad leader or whoever's in charge of the wedge. He's typically going to be located down in here somewhere. But we're moving forward, we're taking fire. We get down, we start pouring fire forward. Depending on the size of the unit we have, you know, if we're fire team or we're squad, will determine what happens next. If we're fire team, we will do buddy team bounds to the rear. If we're as a squad, we're going to do fire team bounds. So, in this wedge formation, we've practiced that whoever's the farthest forward or has the shortest leg, in this case it's going to be our left flank here, they're going to be the first ones to disengage. So then our left flank here, our left side buddy team, they're going to become our base of fire, support by fire. These guys, we're going to signal they're pulling back by tossing a smoke grenade forward and possibly tossing a fragmentation grenade forward. Grenades go off. That's their signal. They finish what they're doing, and then they pull back. Then they set up position farther back, waiting for the other buddy team to come back. when they're in position, and these guys should know to wait X number of seconds. You should practice this. You know, if they should wait 3 seconds, 5 seconds, whatever it is, they know automatically to start counting as soon as that grenade goes off, as soon as that smoke starts going through the area. Then they cease fires, they pull back and set up position behind the other buddy team farther back, and they just keep bounding backwards till they're out of the kill zone, or until they reach the tree line or IV line behind them, or they reach dead space that they can use to maneuver out of the kill zone, get out of that area. Now the next method I want to discuss is a method that was employed by the Vietnamese communists. This is what I've been able to find out on how they did their breaking contact. So we have our enemy patrols moving forward. They could be in a wedge, they could be in a ranger foul, whatever it is. They could be in a diamond. We're coming up. We bump into them. Same as before. You move to the side that you're covering inside the patrol here. He's pointing left, so he goes left. He's pointing right, he goes right. He's pointing left, he goes left. They start opening fire. Now, if they did this right, and if I organize this right here, how the communists typically did it, they had their squad automatic weapon, their RPK, their RPD, move up to the center where the point man was, and he goes right off the flank of that, and then everyone else builds off the side from there. Everyone knew, pour out X number of rounds, and then the flanks started moving in. They come down, tap the next person in line, they're moving down. And they would just keep coming in, coming in. When the two come in from the sides, they meet in the center, they continued back, they pulled back, and then it just kept going, shrinking in down to the center till you had two people. Now as this is going on, the ones that are in the center, they slowly increase their fire to prevent these guys from knowing what's going on. So maybe they're going from control bursts to start going to the, you know, continuous spray. That's one of the reasons why he had the automatic weapon there in the center, to cover the lessening fire from the flanks. The other person that's there in the center, he tosses out a grenade or two, whatever he has available, and then that's their signal for these guys to break contact as soon as those grenades went off, or whatever signal they had practiced for that unit. They then just cease fire and haul rear, going back, and then they would meet up with the rest of them who are consolidating, setting up a defensive line farther back on the trail. Now our next situation here. We're all mixed together. We're at this rally, or whatever major event. We got patriots, we got constitutionalists, we got people everywhere. Our little group of people that we came with from our state, we're staying roughly together here, watching over each other in the situation. The event happens. It could be a car bomb, it could be a shooting, whatever. We then decide, what should we do? How should we react? Should we go help, or should we get out of the area? If it's some type of truck bomb or something, really you might want to think about pulling out unless you're close to where it happened. If you're close to where it happened, get in there, provide medical support. If you're farther out, I'd say pull away. A common tactic employed in the Middle East is multiple bombs. You have one smaller bomb go off, people react, they come in, they start providing first aid, then a larger bomb goes off, taking out even more people, taking out your first responders. Now we have the situation happening. It occurs over here. We decide we need to break contact. Well, if it's happening over here, we need to maneuver this way. As we're doing this, we need to stay together, stay as close together as possible. At a minimum, stay together as buddy teams. When you first show up in a situation, assess the area, decide the routes on how you're going to get out of there. Have pre-arranged rally points. You know, talk to your people, make sure that they recognize the direction and the rally point in that direction. So we're going to go this way. We've already decided that if we're going to rally in that direction at, say, I don't know, the McDonald's that's 2 blocks away. So chaos is going on. We stick together in our buddy teams and we start moving out of there. We maintain situational awareness. We're watching what's going on around us. If there's a lot of shooting and that stuff, we're watching for the shooters. If we can identify who the shooter is, they're taking shots at us, we put that shooter down. Otherwise, we're breaking contact, getting out of the area. So we stay together, stay in 2-person teams. We're letting the chaos of the situation cover our withdrawal. We slip out of there. Always make sure to stay with your battle buddy and then meet up at that rally point. Now, if you get separated from your battle buddy, try to regroup with them. He gets pushed out of the way, he gets tackled or whatever, you double back, push that person out of the way that tackled him, help him up, and then you continue out of the area. Hopefully that gives you some ideas on how to think this through. Now, in the mass casualty situation, you know, you're in a crowd, something happens, as I said, stay together, preferably everyone together, maneuvering your entire group, or at a minimum, buddy teams. No one should travel alone. If you have an odd number of people, well, one of your buddy teams needs to be a 3-person team then. All right? Maneuver out of that area, get to your rally point, assess the situation. Determine at that point, are you going to go back in to provide aid, or are you going to get out of the area? Take care of your casualties and that stuff once you're out of the kill zone. It's the same for in combat operations. Get out of the chaos, out of the kill zone, then take care of your casualties. If you have to take care of them inside the chaos, in the kill zone, you just do the quick, dirty first aid, control the bleeding, get them out of there, and then continue with the first aid as required. Don't leave any gear behind. Make sure to bring it all with you. So, now for all my engineer brothers in the Patriot and militia movements, always remember, essayons.